Shall we start this thing?
I think we should.
Where? Oh.
Okay, through the looking glass.
Hey!
Update on what we're doing and shit. 1. Now this has explicit language. that broke early. So yeah, my name's Paul. I'm the producer of Through the Looking Glass, and specifically our game Particulars, and this is Anurag Day.
Hello!
He's our marketing guy. Yeah,
he
does
marketing
and stuff. So we have a list of what we want to talk about today. So tell us, what is this?
Through the Looking Glass?
No, what is this video?
Okay, so this video is for us to be able to tell everyone out there what Through the Looking Glass is doing.
Yep.
Basically, we want to position ourselves as a company which is transparent and open and is an invaluable resource to the wider community.
Yeah. And I suppose the point here is that we're all just starting out in games, and none of us have done this business side of things, and we're learning a shitload as we're doing it. And so what I really want to do is create resources for other people that are in a similar position and really just run this company as professionally as we possibly can and use that as an example for other people to either follow or to then give don't do that because that's retarded type advice.
Also, it's for us as well.
Yeah,
because our next project, which fingers crossed will be early next year, we'll be able to look back at this and go, well, this worked, this didn't. Oh.
So what we're really doing is putting something together that gives us a lot of flexibility and lets us just go crazy and try things out and really be experimental about our processes. And then at the end of the day, we can look back and decide what worked and what didn't, while at the same time kind of keeping you guys, a community, in the loop.
Yep. So today we have a couple of things on the agenda. First of all, we're going to talk about the design process, then Scrum, so the methodology of Scrum.
Yep.
And we're going to talk a bit about marketing, and then finally a bit of production talk.
Yeah. So I mean, what we've done so far, in the last few weeks, I mean, we've been around since June as Through the Looking Glass, as a studio that's making this game Particulars. And the last couple of weeks, there's been a huge explosion. As essentially we've gone from building, as a few programmers building an engine to having that engine at a stage where we can start putting art assets in and needing to find artists and that sort of thing. And so we've gone from 5 people to 15 in a matter of 3 weeks, and pretty much taken on this very professional way of doing things as a response to the fact that we really need to now organize our lives. And yes, this is live, and well, by live, not really.
There's no editing here.
Yeah.
As you can see from...
So, from our amazing sign. So over the weeks, we'll actually get this process better, and we'll actually we have a logo. So next week, hopefully, we'll have that in the video. But right now,
we might even have it printed off.
We might. It's crazy, right? Yeah, we're very much looking to just improve processes slowly and get ourselves better over time. Yeah.
And anyways, back to this expansion. With the expansion of the company, what that's forced us to do was to help, to create a hierarchy.
Yes.
And so in the last 2 weeks, we really worked on trying to create clear sort of roles for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that brings us nicely along to the Scrum methodology and design process. So what happened last week was we had a big induction for a lot of the new people.
Yep.
And then we split off into programmers, into design, into...
we should probably talk a bit about Scrum first.
Yeah.
In general. So Scrum is a methodology that is very good for game development. It's an agile methodology, which means that you're doing everything in short iterations. And it's a very high-level methodology, so it's not very specific to programming, and you can utilize it in all your different aspects. The nice thing about it is it very much encourages team play, and while there might be a hierarchy, we have a producer, we have a creative director, all that sort of stuff, it really encourages people to work together to solve problems. And
it's very collaborative.
Yeah, and that's really the kind of environment we really want to foster here. Yeah.
So we've broken up into teams, and we've created user stories for everyone.
So user stories are essentially things that you want to have done. They're pretty much objectives, but they're objectives from the point of view of an end user rather than from the developer's point of view.
Yeah. So with our scrums, we have 2-week sprints.
Yep.
And so these are examples of user stories. So I don't know if you can read it very well, but that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So this is an example of a user story, and the number at the bottom is basically how difficult we rate this task.
Yeah.
So, for example, has budgets and funding levels for 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, etc. Was rated a 3. Let me see if there's anything else.
So that one, for instance, we just want to know, like, if we had money, because we're going to be looking at funding, if we have money, what are we going to do with it? And how much money, what could we do if we had a ridiculous amount of money? And what would happen if we had not much money? And how would the development go in either case? Having that sort of planning is really important. Yeah.
And also it's good for us to be able to estimate how difficult a task is, because programmers are famously...
Programming is famously ridiculously hard to estimate things for. And so it's the sort of thing that over like a few sprints, you're going to get better at estimating these things. And we play a specific game called like, is it Scrum Poker?
Yeah, Scrum Poker.
Yeah, we'll call it Scrum Poker. I think there's a better name for it, but yeah, we'll call it that.
Anyways.
And we play that game to like help us figure out what our estimates are.
Yeah, so there's that.
Yeah.
And
so we should talk about what we're doing in our current sprint. Our current sprint is very much about, I think the theme of the current sprint is previs. Previs and induction / building teams. So very much on the art and design, it's all about previs. So we're very much going, let's try out, get people to pre-visualize either the art, the sound, all those sorts of things in a way where they're not hampered by the technology, and then we'll figure out what we can actually implement and that sort of thing. And so all the user stories are essentially for the creative director as a user to be able to look at things, look at these user stories and decide, look at these pre-visualizations and decide what to do with them from then on. And this includes like some level designs for types of levels that we haven't designed before to see how they run, to the audio, sound, and UI, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say what I think is really important about this sprint is the first time a lot of the programmers are trying out the code.
We've got quite a few new programmers at the moment, and so the other thing that this sprint is very much about is about building a team. And so we're very much taking a philosophy of building up a team rather than specifically like building the team above specifically getting more done at this stage. We've put a 6-month cap on the project, so our end time is March. So we have a bit of time to take a month or two and be developing things, but at the same time really get that team to a point where they're running incredibly smoothly and really focus on that. And so this, especially for the programmers, is getting them some startup tasks to really get them working together, learning as much as they can, and often actually giving them tasks that they haven't done before on purpose so that they can so that they can learn new skills.
The sort of key word for this sprint, I think, for the programmers was become a generalist.